Alrighty, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of my nonsense, and definitely also B-Log's nonsense. Let's see if I can summon him with the bell real quick. There he is. What, evil boy? What? He's currently in a mood because he always is, to be honest. But that's okay, because today we have something to talk about. I think that is honestly worth talking about, and that is the concept of overconsumption in witchcraft. I always get fascinated when I see overconsumption, like just in general, like overconsumption of makeup or cups or anything else like that you might see online. But God, does that also make it easier to see the ways in which people overconsume on witch talk and in terms of witchy stuff as well, and the weird ideas people get around stuff in witchcraft. So I definitely want to talk about that just a little bit, but before we get into that, again, if you are new here, hello, my name is Sara Rastres, and I am a Christian witch content creator, writer, educator, specifically a writer of these two books right here. Very funny in a video about overconsumption to be like, hey, by the way, my shit, but these books, if you looked at the term Christian witch and you said that's not possible, that can never be possible, there's no way in hell that's possible, no, I read... Settle down, my friends. These books aren't just some nonsense that my co-writer Mimi and I pulled out of our back end. They are books that we have researched and cross-referenced, and also that we have had some guidance with priests and other such really cool folks, to write all this stuff. So this first book definitely goes over the misconceptions people have about Christianity and witchcraft and the Bible verses and all that kind of stuff. The second book is all about the mystic journey, kind of just taking that mystic journey and putting it in that witchy context, showing how the mystic and the witch journey are one-to-one. Habiobe, yeah. So, no, stop. Anyway, all right, so that mystical journey, the thing that every spiritual person is going to encounter in some shape or form, that absolutely happens in Christian witchcraft, and it is very, very similar to any standard Christian mystical journeys. So if you want to check out those books, go ahead. Otherwise, if you're not ready to grab a book and you just want to hang out and catch a vibe for a second, by all means, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell, because we post stuff like this every single week. I've also got a website full of blogs on all kinds of topics. I've also got a Patreon where if you want to support me further and get these videos 2 weeks early and ad-free, you can go over there and also get a lot of other stuff. Spell tips, magic tips, just stuff that I'm doing on my own daily life, and all these other kinds of things. Back to the topic at hand, overconsumption. So, just this little thing I might hold up, a bell. It's a really cute witchy tool. And so are a lot of the other witchy tools that I have collected over many, many, many moons, right? I have many different witchy tools. I have many different fun little objects and trinkets and items and things that I definitely don't need to do magic. I don't need a single one of these tools to do magic. And yet I've collected these things over time for a variety of reasons. Because they help with the magic, because I like them, because, I have a kind of whimsical attachment to them. For example, I've got things like this deer horn antler dagger, which I didn't buy, but which I got from a friend that was in my writing MFA program, because he makes knives, and they're very good knives. And so this kind of has become like a mainstay in my witchy spaces for that reason. It's a real one, that's why it's in the leather casing. It is sharp, but it is very, very cool. I also have, things like the bell I just showed you, things like this incense burner, which I found in a very tiny little Catholic church tucked into, the side of an alley in Vienna, Went in there and bought this, not just because incense burner, but because it's, from a church. It looks really cute. And it's a souvenir of where I've been. I've also got, my purple lace agate rosary, which I've no doubt shown you a few times at this point. These are purple lace agate, crystal beads, which to me is very witchy, and it's also a rosary. This is the only one I have ever bought for myself. Every other rosary I've owned has been gifted to me. Most of them by my mom. She loves giving me rosaries. But a lot of them I've just, friends, or I've gotten them from somewhere, or maybe they have been handed out or something, and I've just collected them. This is the only one I've ever actually purchased with my own money of the many billion and two rosaries that I have. You packing? Are you no? Are you packing? Oh no. And I also just have some fun whimsical things, like this journal, which is kind of inspired by the Hocus Pocus book, right, with the eyeball on it and stuff. What do I intend for this? I don't know. I haven't written anything in it yet, because it's just such a cool journal that I couldn't bear it if I filled it with stuff that wasn't worth how fun it is, right? But I definitely think this might, not like a curse journal, but definitely some kind of weird, weird spell journal. Definitely some kind of like, very much like, not for beginner practitioners spells, right? That might go in here. Or this might just be, because it does sit on my bar cart, I love it also just for the aesthetic, right? And so it might just actually be a better version of the cocktail book I have over there, Magic Cocktails, because those cocktails are rough and don't taste very good. I can get some actual booze and recipes in here. The book of vice, the book of vice, the book of spells. But this I got at the Renaissance Fair because I just loved it. Not only am I a witch, I'm also a fantasy writer, and on occasion I will make a very goofy purchase just because the whimsy of whatever it is I'm looking at and the story I build in my head about it is so irresistible that I simply cannot help myself. You know, it's not just that I think this is a tool I need to do magic. Now it's like, no, this already has a story in my head. This is already, you know, the cursed grimoire of whatever witch I am in my head. This, you know, or this weird bottle of wine I got is definitely a cursed bottle of wine that is here on accident and that should not be here, and I'm going to purchase it because, fuck yeah, cursed wine, right? Like things like that. Just because, I don't know. You gotta make otherwise boring and mundane life interesting somehow. And sometimes that happens by just making up little stories to add some fantasy to your daily life. Oh my god, why are you trying to destroy me? What? What? Just pecking me in the back over here. What? Oh. And now he's forgotten that he wants to kill me because he's too busy flirting. Yeah. Oh. But again, as I said, you don't need any of these things to do magic. You don't need rosaries and holy water or moon water. You don't need a certain color candle. You don't need statues. You don't need any of this kind of stuff to do any kind of magic. You don't need 1,002 books either. I mean, obviously the books are helpful, but use your local library and go take them out at the library. Hello? Don't waste your money collecting books you're not going to read. Don't waste your money on books that are not actually helpful to you. Use your damn library. Go read them there first, and if you really, really like them and want to reference them more, then go buy them. Hello, ma'am. What? What? I quote this guy a lot, and I should bring it up, at least to show his books off at least one time. But Damien Eagles here. This book is about angels and archangels, and I like this book a lot. But he also makes the point that, hey, any magician should be able to do very powerful magic, even if you drop them off butt-ass naked in the middle of nowhere. They shouldn't need all these tools to figure out how to cast a spell. Because a lot of these tools, what they do is they help you understand, like, symbolically, metaphorically, animistically, what you are doing. They are not required to do the magic. The magical battery of the situation is yourself, right? Is yourself, and the charger that is powering your battery is whatever spiritual team you have, if you have one, right? If you have a god, if you have a spirit team, a guide, somebody, great, cool. As a Christian witch, my charging station is God, and God is everywhere, all the time, everywhere, constantly, no matter what I'm doing. So I always have my battery full of magic. I always have my God who replenishes said battery and also brings down the infinite power to battery, right? Does this mean it is wrong to have items? Obviously not. As I've just displayed to you, I have a lot of items, many of them just for fun. But it does mean that if you're thinking like, oh, I have to have this stuff, oh, I need these things, oh, I can't do witchcraft without these things. Hold the hell up. Pause. You don't need to have 30 billion tarot decks, to be good at tarot reading. I have 30 billion tarot decks because I have collected them over the years. And some of them I'm very glad that I've collected. For example, right, I'm very glad that I bought Threads of Fate's Weaver Tarot when I did, because I don't think this company produces this deck anymore. I don't know if this company is still around, but I do know that when I saw this deck, I loved it, and I loved it so much. I thought it was beautiful. It's got that really cool, like, incandescent kind of shine to it, right? When you push it in the light, it's got that kind of rainbow shine. It's got really cool minimalist art. It's got really good guidebook descriptions. Like, yeah, I really like this deck, and I'm glad that I got it when I did. Likewise, right, the Golden Tarot by Cat Black is one that, this is like the first real deck that I bought for myself, right? So before that, I just had some cheesy goofiness from like some shop in Salem that I got on a school trip. This was my first real deck, and I ruined the gold edges of it putting holy water on it because I was stupid. But this remains one of my favorites because it's very faithful to the original Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, while being made out of digital collages of Renaissance art, which is super, super cool. And I also have these 3 decks, the 3 separate decks here. This one is the Universal Fantasy Tarot. The box broke, so I put it in this tarot sleeve instead, like this little cloth bag. This tarot bag, was a gift from my fiance's sibling. This deck itself is really, really, really cool. I don't even know if this one's printed anymore, but it's the, again, Universal Fantasy Tarot, so everything in here is very, like, fantasy themed. As a fantasy writer, I love that. All kinds of really, really cool art in this. I have this one, I have the Herb Crafter Tarot, and I have the Marigold Tarot, which this is also one of my absolute favorites. And I have all of these because these were gifted to me, right? So I had a friend who had this deck, and she's like, I just don't connect with it. Do you want it? And I said, absolutely, hell yeah. So that's how I got this one. Herb Crafter Tarot was, I have a P.O. box that folks send stuff to. So one of my supporters sent me this deck, which it's a beautiful deck. I really like it. It's like nice kind of like pencil sketches of herbs and things to represent the tarot cards, which is super, super cool. And Marigold Tarot actually is very special to me because my fiance got this for me. And that's important because my fiance is an atheist. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff. But he was one of the original backers on Kickstarter for Amrit Brar, who now runs 13th Press. And so, I got the first run of the deck as well as the separate booklet of the meanings and like a cool tarot, cloth that came with it. And so these were gifted to me. And so that's why I have these 3. I have another one that was gifted to me as well, and then another one that I bought to go with it because they're a dual set, the Angel and the Occult Tarot. I was gifted the Angel, picked up the Occult to go along with it. So when it comes to tarot decks, yes, I have a lot of these, but this is the collection I've built up over the past 12 years. And so it's definitely like not a collection I've built over 2 seconds. Oh, I forgot, I have another deck, the Slavic Tarot deck, and that was also one gifted to me by my co-writer, which is very fun. Over the course of 12 years, I've collected these decks, some of which have been gifted, some of which I've bought. But you don't need a billion decks, right? You don't need a billion tarot decks. You don't need all of this stuff. You don't need these things. If you like them, by all means, go ahead. I personally like having a lot of tarot decks as well because, each booklet describes it differently. It helps you learn the cards and how to view them differently, but it's not required. You don't even need a tarot deck at all. Shit, you could use a regular deck of playing cards if you really, really wanted to, or you could just go online and they have like tarot card pulling websites for free. Free tarot card pulling websites that you can just do some more technomancy with, right? You can ask your question and then just click draw a card and it'll pull a card at random, and that's just as good. All of my rambling to say, it's okay to have things, but never think that you need things.
Part 2 of de-influencing witchy products, but instead today we're going to be talking about how to only buy things that you need and want. Because as you can see, I have a lot of stuff. I like a lot of stuff. I'm a maximalist. But I've also spent a lot of money on things that I didn't need because I felt obligated or because they were trending or something like that. The most important thing to remember is that the line between needing and wanting is going to be different for everybody. In witchcraft specifically, you don't need a lot of stuff to have a powerful and fulfilling practice. But that doesn't mean that it's bad to want pretty things. I love pretty things. They're my favorite things. Do I need 700 crystals? No. Do they make me happy? Yes. When you're shopping for witchy stuff, the most important thing is to get things that are going to benefit you. Don't just buy stuff because it's trending or because someone tells you that you need it to be a better practitioner, because they don't know your practice. For example, at the beginning of my practice, I had like 3 rune sets. The reason I got them is because someone said, this is what witches do, so you need them. I ended up giving them all away. Before you make a purchase, just take a beat to make sure that it's something that's genuinely going to make you happy and improve your practice.
Right, exactly. I agree 100% with everything she just said. And this is the thing, right? So again, I have all these tarot decks. It's because I really like tarot. I really like tarot. I don't like oracle decks. I've had maybe one Oracle deck my entire life. Hated it. I never used it. I do not like Oracle cards. If you do, awesome. For me, they just make no sense to me. But I love tarot cards, and I love the different styles of art. And I am very picky about which decks that I actually purchase with my own money. Very picky about that. But I will never say no if someone wants to give me a deck. I will say that. You know, so like I can have all these ones because I like them. And that's really all the reason you need to get something. But as this creator is saying, the whole this is what witches do, you need this to be a witch. No, if you don't have anything to do with like Norse paganism or the Nordic gods, why would you need Norse runes? Right? Like why would these even matter? Right? This kind of idea of letter divination, right? Writing these runes or things, they exist in Greek Hellenic polytheism, like the Greek letter oracle. There is, right, the Nordic runes, there's the Celtic Ogham runes. Like there's all kinds of stuff that if you like it and it makes sense to you and it is usable to you, by all means go get them. Go get your little bag of runes and go do your thing with them. But if you try it out and you use it and it just doesn't make any sense and you can't connect with it, you don't need to force yourself to. It doesn't make you less of a witch if you don't have that. Find a different method that works. There are countless divination methods. You could take a fucking handful of beans and there you go. You've done Favomancy. Good job. Congrats. Right? Like, no. You don't need to buy witch tools because you can actually make or find witch tools. Why are you going to go out of your way to buy this expensive wooden witchy wand when you can make just as cool a one going out and finding whatever sticks have fallen near your house and spending the time and energy to whittle them down yourself and really make them your own unique thing? Like, there's something to be said for the fact that money is energy in a way, right? You worked, you spent life power getting the money that you have. You have spent blood, sweat, and tears. You have spent, active effort and concentration to do the things that get you that money. So money is in itself already raw energy. That's how you could think of money, as raw, fully potentialed energy. It can do anything you want it to do within the capacity that you have it, right? Like $10 has the energy of $10. That sounds very dumb, but you know what I mean? Like $10, okay, that's a set amount of energy. You can spend that on 5 $2 things. You could spend that on 2 $5 things. You could spend it on 1 $10 thing. You can spend it on 10 $1 things, right? You can divvy that energy up. There's infinite potential in it, and those things can be like anything. So money is its own energy, right? That's literally what it is. It's a tool, just like any of these other things we're talking about, witchcraft. But you could also instead of pouring your time and attention and energy into making the $10 to buy a pre-made wand, you could spend that time and attention and energy into making your own and kind of skip that transmutation into formlessness and then back into whatever, right? You can skip the transition of your energy into formless potential, then wand. You can just transform your energy into wand when you go outside, get a stick, and decorate it yourself. Ta-da. Right? This is the thing with overconsumption. You don't need to buy every single tool. You don't need to. Some of my most commonly used tools, again, they're ones that have been gifted to me, right? All of my, crystals, all of my stuff. They're ones that I've either bought when I was young and silly and I did think I needed stuff and that I've just kept because they are useful in some extent. Or they are things that have been gifted. There are things that I have collected. There are things that I have made. Oftentimes I like to, put down just stuff from the garden. One of the most common, especially in spring, summer, common offerings I put to God on the guest altar space is mint, right? If we look at Matthew 23:23, right, dill, mint, and cumin, I love to just pick some of the free and fresh growing mint out in my yard because my landlord planted mint over there forever ago and now it is eternal. I just pick some and I put it down. Ta-da. Right? Like, and again, food, mint itself, those herbs out in my garden, they're great for magic. They're awesome for magic. They're good for, just physical healing, right? All the remedies you can do with herbs. They're good for metaphysical things. Like I love a good mint mojito for communication spells. I love using mint and also, rum and these other things in the mojito to magnify my voice and also to kind of like rebuke, especially when people are saying dumb, stupid things and I have to correct them, right? I love using mint as a communication booster. And if you put it in a pot, it'll come back every year. If you put it in the ground, it'll come back every year, and then you got to spend all this time chasing it so it doesn't take over everything around it because it's invasive and aggressive. You know what else is invasive and aggressive? This boy. But like, you know, when you go on Witch Talk and you see like those beautiful spells where they're using the entire damn spice section of Walmart for their spells, they're laying out all of this junk, it's like a billion candles, it's like a fucking Dowie's worth of basil, it's just insanity in there. It's not necessary. You do not need to do all of that to cast a spell or to be a witch. And I've definitely seen creators on TikTok run around like, well, my spells are more powerful because I put in more resources and more effort and more blah, 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 blah. And I think personally that the opposite is true. Hear me out. The opposite is true to me. If you think that your spell is more powerful because you added more shit to it and because you went out of your way to do it at like 3 a.m. at the crossroads and like all this bullshit and then filmed yourself being a pain in the ass about it on top of it. Listen, what you're telling me as someone who is a very experienced magician is that you needed that much shit to convince yourself of what you were doing. You needed all that bullshit and the cow tongues and the this and that and up and down. You needed all of those pieces to mentally prime yourself to draw up your own power with efficiency. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to say those spells are not powerful at all. Of course they're very powerful. Of course they're very strong, especially because now the person has done all of that legwork to liberate their disbelief, right? To liberate their mind from their disbelief, to cure their disbelief about the capacity of their own power. Because that's what these things do, right? When you put in all of this time and money and energy, right? All of this energy into acquiring the materials alone, you are in fact kind of creating like a little tanning thing, you know, whatever that is that people use to tan their faces, a little mirror screen. You're kind of creating one of those in your ritual space. That's what it's doing, right? It's reflecting all that energy you poured in back, and now you can bask in it and you can, you know, soak it up, and then you can do the spell. And then you have liberated your mind and therefore your potential to activate the thing you want to do. But back to Damien Eccles, a truly powerful magician doesn't need to liberate their mind from their disbelief to begin with. They know what they want to happen. They speak it into existence, and it happens. That's it. So, the tools and all that stuff, they're very fun, right? Don't get me wrong, they're very fun, they're very whimsical. They help you kind of get into it more. They help you really believe in what you're doing more, which is really all it's about and what's important about it. From an animistic perspective, of course, they're also offering you a little bit of help too, right? The herbs and the crystals, they have their own souls and their own energy, and they're contributing it up, right? They're participating a little bit. But it's your own soul that's powering the thing, right? It's your own soul that's doing the thing. So even if you had none of that stuff, if you understood and could visualize the way in which your magic was going to impact material reality, it would work. And you wouldn't need anything. You wouldn't need a damn thing. You wouldn't need a single thing, right? And you would be able to easily outclass someone who has to spend all this time and get the exactly right day, the exactly right moon phase, the exactly right items and this and that. You can easily outclass someone because while they're waiting for the perfect time to strike, you've already struck 3 times. You know, like it's one of those things where you have to be good at both. You have to definitely like know when it's the time and place to pull out some tools so that you can better focus and sink into it, and truly enmesh yourself with the symbols and the metaphors that you are weaving on your ritual table. But it also comes to a point where you gotta realize that like the spell is going to be powerful whether you spent $1 or $100 on that bottle of herbs, because it's not actually about the herbs, right? It's not actually about that. It's you have essentially squandered your energy. We were talking about money is energy. You are squandering your energy to pour it into the things that don't directly actually affect your spell. You could pour that $10 into a pre-made wand. You could pour the energy directly into making your own. Likewise, you could pour hundreds of dollars into spell tools and herbs and crystals and blah, blah, blah to do your spell. You could just pour your energy directly into what it is that you want. There you go. Like that, there you go. Spend the same amount of time, spend the same amount of mental effort and concentration that you use to get the $100. Just pour it directly into your spell and speak it. And there it is. There's your magic. So, listen. Again, another thing I see a lot of people just buying stuff because I'm a witch and I'm going to buy things that reflect that I'm a witch. Why? I mean, like, again, if you like them, cool. There's no need to just kind of flounce and announce it like that, unless you want to, but then you don't need like 12 mugs, you know what I mean? Like, one mug's good. I've got my one little mug that my cousin got me. Done. There you go. Set. Right? So at the end of the day, if you are someone who's just getting started in witchcraft, and you are like, I can't do any spells because I don't have a specific color candle. I don't have specific herbs. I don't have all of these tools. I don't have an incense burner. I don't even have incense. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. Take a walk right now to your pantry. Go get your spice cabinet open. See what you got. If you have like oregano and thyme and like cinnamon, you've already got a great mix for a spell. Believe you me. Okay. Do you have an onion in your house? Great. Do you have flowers growing outside your house? Great. Do you have a tree nearby? Great. Do you have running water? Great. Like, you gotta remember, the reason the cauldron is the symbol of witchcraft is because back in the day, the witches were using their own cookware to do stuff. Nowadays, the equivalent of that cauldron everyone wants to go buy special made and super expensive is your stainless steel stew pot. The point of witchcraft has always been to use what you have on hand and to not bankrupt yourself with nonsense. It has been to go look outside and see what kind of cool flowers do you have, what colors are they, do they have any properties you know about? Great, go use them in something. The end. You could buy a fancy sound cleansing machine, you could just have a pigeon. Oh. So all that said, guys, don't take it too seriously. Again, your craft is your craft. It's art, right? Just like you don't have to have the most expensive set of crayons and colors and markers and whatever to be an artist, you don't need a billion tools to be a witch. You need a pencil to be an artist, maybe, if that. You need, like, your own brain to be a witch, basically, is what you need. So keep that in mind and let that encourage you to get started doing whatever you're doing, no matter how small it looks compared to other nonsense on the internet. And with that, I will see you guys next time for some more good chats. See ya!